Hi, Michael Kushner here. As my regular podcast listeners already know, I'm the author of HOA Hell, California Homeowners' Definitive Guide to Beating Bad HOAs. I'm hosting a live book signing at Barnes & Noble in Aliso Viejo on March 21st, 2026 at 2 p.m. If you live in an HOA, are thinking about buying into one, or you're already dealing with a bad board, this event is for you. I'll be signing books, answering questions, and meeting homeowners who are ready to fight back and win. Everyone who RSVPs by March 20th, 2026 and attends the event will receive a special gift. To RSVP for the book signing, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description. I hope to see you all there. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Michael Kushner here. And with me today is radio talk show personality and hit star with a Hollywood Walk of Fame and all that, Bill Handel from Handel on the Law and KFI AM 640 iHeartRadio superstar.
Oh,
Bill,
yeah.
hi.
Superstar. I say that every morning when I look in the mirror. I call myself a superstar.
Well, you have the star on the Hollywood
I
Walk
do.
of Fame, and actually you can Google what the address is and it'll lead you right to it.
Right. And by the way, surprisingly enough, a little inside baseball about the Star Fame. They're not that expensive to buy and put on on the sidewalk.
Could I get one? No. You have to be elected into.
Yes.
And then you were elected into the you were elected into a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Radio Hall of Fame.
Radio Hall of Fame. So who gets into that?
There is, it's an organization and 25 people vote. It's a very large board and 25 in the industry.
That's not a lot of people, though.
No, it's executives and people who've been in the industry for a hugely long period of time. And it's just, you sort of get to know people, and that's not very fair either. But none of those are fair.
Except it is what it is. So obviously, most there's thousands and thousands of people in the radio throughout the country. Most people don't end up in the Hall of Fame. So What do you kind of have to do? Toot your own horn, but what do you kind of have to do to get elected into that?
Number one, longevity. That helps.
And you've been around since 85?
I started. The first time I got behind a microphone was 1985.
Okay.
1989 is when I joined KFI.
Yeah.
And
which is the biggest, strongest signal in California, right?
It's the number one talk station in the United States.
Oh, in the U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S., yeah. It's the strongest talk station in the United States. And so in order to get in, number one, longevity, it helps to be in a major market, although there are different medium markets, small markets.
And you're syndicated, too. At least
you're syndicated. The Handel on the Law show, I have two shows. One, Handel on the Law, which we're going to talk about.
And the morning show, yeah.
And the morning show. And so there's that. There's popularity. There's ratings that come into it, and basically success in the radio business, which translates usually in how much money are you bringing in.
Right, but also I'm sure it has to do with how many average listeners you have on your show. I one time, and this could be totally opposite, I thought you had on average 2 million listeners.
I had 1.1 million in the morning show, but that is only in the metro LA, Orange County area.
Yeah.
Since, as you talked about, the power, just the signal of KFI, the local show, it's a 50-watt clear channel radio. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's a clear channel radio station, which means, and here's a little bit of techno information, is that there are various strengths of signals. 50,000 is the biggest you can get. And also the direction of the signal itself.
Okay.
So there are stations that only go just a certain bandwidth.
Right.
And at night they drop wattage because nighttime.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Nighttime the signal travels further because this is an AM signal.
Okay.
And so with KFI it's 50,000 watts day or night.
Okay.
And it's a 360-degree broadcast signal.
There were times, I went to Berkeley in underground. I couldn't pick up KFI at when I was in Northern California, but when I would drive back, I could pick it up really far out of LA, sometimes halfway. I could start picking it up.
If you did it at night, when there was no other interference, and this is atmospheric conditions. Mm-hmm. When I did, I would fill in for overnights, and we do phone calls. I got phone calls from Guam. From Alaska.
Did you do it for who was not Nori, but the guy before him.
Oh, Art Bell.
Yeah, Art Bell. Did you ever?
No,
Okay,
because he was too crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Martian anal probes.
It is.
I mean, that's what that is. Poltergeist.
Well, that hasn't happened to you?
No, I have not had a Martian anal probe.
That must just be me.
Yeah. So KFI is a fairly unique. It was one of the first radio stations on the West Coast. It was 1922 when it got its license.
Wow. See, I grew up listening to KABC.
Right, and that's where I started as a KBC.
Okay. Yeah, my parents listened to it, so I listened to it.
Now, KBC has a 5,000 watt signal.
I didn't know that. 5,000?
5,000 watts.
What about KRLA? What do they got?
I don't know.
Okay.
But KBC does not go, for example, into the San Fernando Valley.
No, they don't. I know that. Or even very far past San Bernardino.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a directional signal.
I didn't know.
Under its licensing with the
KFI is
FCC.
everywhere. Unfortunately, the electric cars don't even have AM.
No, you can go through a device, but that's
right.
And that's one of the reasons we talked about 1.1 million listeners. It has dropped now to about 500,000 listeners
On KFI, but you stream too, though.
That's it. And but they don't count streaming.
Why not?
They just don't. It's apples and oranges. The way they have not yet melded the two. So I actually have more listeners on streaming than I do listening on signal and terrestrial radio. Now, the advertising dollars on streaming is minuscule compared to the advertising dollars that you get. So commercial on my station, which used to run, for me, an endorsed spot, used to run $1,500 a minute, not including talent fees. Now you get for $700-800 a minute, and the talent fee stays about the same. But it's a different world
Completely, and the whole industry is probably
totally.
And you've got a podcast.
No, I gave it up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's too much work. I don't want to do what you do.
But you didn't do it. Lindsay did all the hard work.
No, she didn't actually.
Oh, she didn't?
Yeah, Lindsay,
Okay.
my wife, my very young wife, did. She was helping a bit. It's a lot of work. I mean, I look around.
I know,
and
it is.
You do it. It's a lot of work.
Well, I will tell folks, guys, you've seen our studio here, and it's got really great sound baffling and soundproofing. Do you mind if I share that you're the one that built this?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so Bill Handel actually built this room. He was, when he moved to Orange County from BF Egypt, where he was before,
right,
near Hollywood, near Universal Studios. When he moved down south, he wanted a place to do his show without having to drive up there every day. And he called me one day and said, "Do you have a spare office?" And he put a lot of money into outfitting one of our offices in this soundproofing, just scientific wonder here. And he had engineers here, sound engineers.
Oh yeah, no, and
it's all directional. So actually, this was all built by Bill, and thank you for that, because I got it for free.
Yeah, this was not inexpensive, to say the least.
No, I remember, but thank you for leaving it.
Yeah, and now because I live in San Juan Capistrano, the studio is still in Burbank. So now I set up a studio, not like this, because this
you weren't going to do that again.
Not again. This was way too much money. But I set up a studio at my house.
Yes.
So now instead of driving an hour and a half into Burbank, I have a 30-foot commute.
Well, we loved it when you were here. It was great. We were the only two people here very early in the morning. For a while. But you were here for about a year.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was good fun. So you have your morning show, which people know it's Monday through Friday, and then you have, and this is the one that I was actually a part of, in the sense that I was one of your panel lawyers.
Right.
And you have Handel on the Law.
Right.
Tell us about Handel on the Law.
Okay, that's a syndicated show that is heard across the country. It's in 300 and something radio stations. I know that sounds unbelievable, but most of the radio stations, the towns, have fewer people than work here in the office. I'm not talking about listenership. I'm talking about the entire towns have 30 people, 40 people in them. So it's syndicated across the country. I give legal advice across the country, and a fun story, because the show was, I'd had it for a few years, and then Premier Radio, which is the largest syndicator in the world, radio syndicator, the president of Premier Radio, who is now one of my best friends, he came to me and said, "I'd like to syndicate the show, Handel on the Law."
Great.
And I said, "Of course I'll syndicate it." So I got a call from...
Is there money involved? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. First there was none, but now there's a little bit of money. So what ended up happening, particularly since I work 3 hours a week on the show, so that's it's fine for 3 hours.
Of course it is.
Yes. And so I got a call from corporate. The corporate lawyer said, Bill, you looked at it. You're opening in 15 markets, 15 different states. And I said, yeah. And he said, you're licensed only in California.
Yeah.
Is that correct? I said, yes, that's true. And he said, and you're giving advice to people in Georgia.
Don't call it advice.
And, well, that's one way. That's the lawyer in you thinking. And he said, yes. I said, yes, I do. So he said, so how do you resolve that? Because we're trying to figure out how this is resolved. You non-licensed in Georgia, giving advice in Georgia via broadcast. And I said to him, see, you presuppose that I actually give good legal advice in California. If it's universally bad legal advice,
it's okay.
That goes across the country, and there is no problem with bad legal advice.
Okay.
As long as you tell people it's bad legal advice.
It's the bad legal advice exception.
Done.
Yeah.
And they said, fine.
So I used to be your attorney.
Yeah.
I represented you and some of your companies, and I do remember one time where you said something on your show, which, by the way, you had somebody that would apologize. I don't know if you still do, but at the end of every single show.
Yeah, we had to apologize to everybody that I offended.
Or that you were going to offend.
That's correct.
Okay, and so you had this blanket apology that would go out every day.
Yeah.
And to the extent, once in a while, you get somebody out there that isn't happy with your apology or doesn't accept it, they would obviously write into the station, and you probably saw that as a badge of you're doing the right thing. But there was once a bar complaint.
Oh, though I've had a couple of bar complaints.
But I remember writing a letter for you, which basically told the state bar, in no uncertain terms, you're an entertainer. You've got the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This person wasn't listening to what you said, and I had the transcript. And I basically said, explain why they had no business looking into this, because it was a nothing burger. And thank you very much. We'll consider this case closed. And they did. They shut it. They closed. Yeah. They didn't go any further. But how many times has that happened?
3 times.
You know what? I would have expected it to be much more than that.
Only 3 times.
And have you ever had anything from any other state bar saying you're giving legal advice?
Nope. Just California, and it was one was a one was a private investigator who didn't like me, and there were 2 lawyers who were failing lawyers who basically got really pissed off that I was making 20 times the money they were and working
more than
3 hours a week or more than that. And so they were unhappy. And yeah, but you were right. You pegged it. You got it exactly. Is that state bar, one of the things about the state bar, and this is what I tell people on the show, a lawyer screwed them over. A lawyer won't respond, refuses to answer emails.
A lot of the trust money stuff, which...
Go to the state bar and just put in a complaint. I guarantee you the bar will open an investigation.
Well, they do. It doesn't mean they're going to do anything about it, but they will open it because
and they'll look at
if they didn't, that could be a problem later. So they do it just to cover their own,
And they look at it.
Yeah,
and
they do.
Look at it. And then it turns out to be, as you said, a nothing burger, and it's dropped. Right. It's only happened 3 times.
I'm shocked. I actually would have expected it to have happened dozens and dozens of times. Okay, so on your Handel on the Law show, I used to, look, I've probably listened to hundreds of those episodes, and we were talking for a few minutes before, like we do, and we were talking about the fact that although you consider yourself an entertainer first, you are an attorney. You are licensed in California. You have been for many, many years.
1979.
In fact, your law school's gone.
Yes,
as far as I know, Whittier Law School.
A good law school.
That it disappeared.
That it's defunct.
It's defunct now. But while it was there, it was accredited.
Yeah, it was accredited. That was a miracle.
But you, although you call yourself an entertainer, you do actually give. And I listened, and I've called into your show many times, or I've sent you an email correcting you. But for the most part, your advice has been pretty good on a lot of topics.
That is coincidence.
Okay, maybe.
That
is, and I'm not talking about the times you've told people, just kill the neighbor or do that.
I do that a lot. Dogs barking next door. What can I do? And
well,
you're gonna what are you gonna do? Get injunctions? A dog too loud? It's not loud enough.
Right.
Poison the dog.
Right.
Just leave me alone.
You've said that thousands of times.
Thousands of times.
And who knows how many people have done it. But according to you, the state bar hasn't come down on you. It hasn't nothing's happened, so I guess you're good.
Because maybe the state bar realizes that when an attorney tells someone, poison the dog next door.
It's not real.
Yeah, maybe that's a little beyond the pale that we're into parody now.
Well, no, actually, I'm not sure about that. I'm not surprised by anything. So
could be. Could someone poison the dog and then come back to me?
No, not even that. I'm just I wouldn't be surprised at anything they do. Let's just put it that way. I'm not surprised by anything.
You know what I
do.
found out? I've just recently gotten divorced, and it was a very amicable divorce.
I know.
Marjorie.
You and Marjorie.
Yeah, we're still very, very good friends. And I was
You're a mensch.
Yeah, I was talking to my attorney, and I said, and we were talking about spousal support, of which Marjorie doesn't want any, and she doesn't want it. But we were just having a discussion saying, what if someone were to say, I quit. I don't want to pay you support, and I'm willing to quit and not work so you don't get support. And she said, well, the court can impute.
Yep, they do.
And you go, wait a minute. Someone makes, let's say, $200,000 a year and stops working. Does the court then say, we're going to impugn $200,000 a year income?
They could.
Whether you're making no money at all.
Yeah, they can.
I don't get that, because now how does someone live on all the money goes to the ex-wife, all of it,
right?
Plus any savings, plus any retirement.
Well, that's all gone anyway. I haven't practiced family law in my life. Right. I don't do it at all, but I knew that.
And I was stunned with that.
Okay,
I was stunned.
Well, so let me get to where we're going today.
Okay.
Obviously, thank you for coming today. By the way,
oh yeah, my pleasure. It's great fun. You've done enough for me.
I love seeing you. We've been good friends for a long time. You always make me laugh, and I love that. You've probably, since you've been doing this since '85, and I've been working with you for over 20 years.
Right.
I can't think of how many legal questions you've been asked in your career. I mean, it's the tens of thousands.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
HOA law is becoming more and more ubiquitous because HOAs are growing not only in California but in all over the country. I can't think of a new development, new construction that doesn't include an HOA, because it's better for, just on pure economic basis, it's better for the developers. Okay, so you're seeing just massive growth throughout the rest of the country, HOAs, and including California as well. We have over 65,000 HOAs in this state with millions of HOA members, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and I get more and more phone calls because there's always some kind of dissension. There's always someone who calls. I mean, virtually every Saturday calls me and says, that's where I was going to ask you. Can you think of what is the most common HOA-related question you get asked? Okay. The most common one is, I get tagged by the HOA parking on the street.
Got it.
Okay, where the CCNR says you can't park on the street, you have to park in your driveway. I go half a block down, people are parking on the street like crazy, and they're going after me. It's selective enforcement.
That's exactly
what
right.
can I do?
And what do you tell them?
I tell them, well, I actually refer to you. I go, there's a book out there that you want to look at, Michael Kushner.
HOA Hell?
HOA Hell, which gives a lot of good information. Also, issues as to what's common ground and what isn't. Leaks.
Leaks are a big one.
Yeah,
okay.
Leaks. It's my neighbors. The HOA, it's a common wall. I think the HOA is responsible.
So it's a condo now we're talking about, right?
That's a condo. And then the HOA is telling me to pound sand.
They always do.
And so I don't know what to do. And those are typical things that you deal with every single day. And I've gotten thousands of those because it's, over the years. I mean,
of course.
It's basically the same 200 questions.
Right.
Or the same 150 questions 10,000 times.
I was handling, I had Logan as a guest host recently, and I'm going to have him some more. And we were just doing a grab bag of questions. And so I grouped them. And I was looking at the questions we received over the last, let's say, 2 months. And I had 12 different questions about a tree falling on somebody's car, falling on the common wall, falling on my backyard, falling on my side yard, falling through my roof. But it was tree falling. And it's the same question, just listed 12 different ways. Right. So I stuck 3 of them in there and said, let's just treat this as one. That's kind of what you're talking about. But so water intrusion and parking are 2 biggies. How about, you had me on your show 8 weeks ago about AB 130, about the fines in California. Yeah. Do you have questions on disciplinary hearings and fines?
I haven't had those because it's a fairly new law.
Right.
That's come in, and I haven't seen many of those. I have had people who have said, I've been fined, legitimately I've been fined, and they don't fine the
Somebody
guy
else.
down the street.
Selective enforcement.
Exactly. And
So
then what do I do about that? And then getting on the board. Quite often I just say,
try to get on the board.
Yeah, get on the board. Get yourself elected. The head of the board, it's a cabal that he controls or she controls.
Very
everybody.
common.
And I can't get information.
Right.
They just won't give me any satisfaction.
Yeah.
So
chapter 4 of my book is about getting that information. It's on Civil Code 5200 and how to get those documents. And I go so far in the book as to even say, here are the documents that you're entitled to, and here are the code sections that support your request for that. Here's how you should ask. Make sure you ask for this, this, and this, and word it this way. I actually put that all in the book for people. I'm just giving away all the secrets. And it's empowering when people do that. Okay, but selective enforcement, I would say, is the most because it covers so much, and it's such a justice thing. It is probably the most ubiquitous issue with bad HOAs is, you treat, I want this, and you said no, but you've given it to him, or you're fining me for this, but these people get away with it like crazy.
Because you're dealing with people who like their neighbors, they don't like you.
Right.
I happen to be in an HOA that there is one lady runs it. And man, you do not want to get on her bad side at all. I mean, she runs it with an iron fist.
See,
but she's wonderful.
Oh, is she?
She's fabulous.
Okay,
I'm just telling
good.
you. She runs it like a good corporation is run.
Was the Persian Palace in an HOA?
Yes.
Okay. So that was up at Encino, right?
That was Encino.
Okay. So I didn't even know. See, I thought that was older. I didn't know they had HOAs
It's
there.
an HOA. It was a gated community, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. They didn't pay the security. They owed $150,000. Before we left, we got an assessment, a little tiny assessment, $29,000 per house.
Let's chat about that. So let's talk about that special assessment. And here's why I want to talk about it. I've done a couple of episodes recently, and I'll put one up. I'll put a little link up above here right now to one of those episodes where we talked about, and it's because of the balcony law, but we talked about the cases we're seeing now becoming more and more frequent where people are coming to us with special assessments of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a unit. And these are not $5, $10 million homes. These are much more modest, maybe $1 or $2 million. And some of these people are on fixed incomes. Some of them are, senior citizens are on fixed incomes. Some of these people have never budgeted for that because that's a little bit ridiculous. And to me, unless you're talking about the Palisades fire type situation or some act of God, like a massive 8.0 earthquake, anytime your HOA is coming to you and saying, write me a check for $30,000, $25,000, there's been negligence.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of course.
Total mismanagement.
Tell me about what happened here and what led to this ridiculous.
It was, the HOA did not pay the security company and just let it go. The management company really screwed up. We think, or they thought, because I had left, they thought the management company was somehow in cahoots with some of the vendors because it made no sense otherwise to us.
I'm going to put a link to that episode as well. We've talked about these management companies as well. Go on.
And it was it was just pure negligence. But keep in mind
it's gross negligence.
Okay, it's gross negligence. But also keep in mind that the people that run those boards are not experts.
No, they're not.
They're just people who have no experience and no expertise.
And because of that, they get the benefit of the business judgment rule. But that has limits. The business judgment rule, which we've also done episodes on. I've got articles on the website on. You just go to the website. Click the libraries tab, click fact sheets, type in business judgment rule, and you're off to the races. They get this presumption that everything they're doing is in good faith and reasonable and all that, as long as they can show some good faith and they're trying to act in the best interests of the association and they're even protected if they're following the advice of an expert like a lawyer, accountant, or whatever. The problem that they run into is when they act in a grossly negligent fashion, or they don't follow up with complaints, or they don't look into things they're supposed to be managing, you're not going to get protection from that because all they have to do is say, hey, take it to the accountant or take it to the management. That's what they pay them for. Handle this for us. And if it's not being done and they don't have a good faith reason for believing it was being done, they're going to get held accountable. It's the way it should be. But they get this huge benefit. This business judgment rule protects them from that. It's when they have no business being on the board at all because they just put their heads in the sand and they don't do anything that they get in trouble, and they should.
How about when you have a management company that in and of itself doesn't do a good job because they're bidding for the business.
Oh,
so
we have a lot of those.
We'll do it cheaper than those other guys will, and you get what you pay for.
It's exactly right.
And
unfortunately, the acts of the management company are imputed to the HOA under regular agency theory. They are agents of the HOA. Because remember, the managers don't owe any duties at all to individual homeowners. Their contract is with the board or with the corporation, and their duty is to the board of the corporation. It has nothing to do with individual members. It's membership. So anything that the management company does, they're doing on behalf of the board unless it's outside the course and scope of their contract. So for example, I did a show on embezzlement by some management companies, right? And there was a big one in Santa Monica. It's building right on the water. And this family had several units in there and they were running the board. And they had embezzled over a period of time. They embezzled well over $1 million with fake contracts, fake vendors, stuff like that. The management company was in cahoots, okay? That management company is not going to be the HOA, because parts of them were involved in that. Those guys were held accountable, but the HOA as a whole wasn't, because that was well outside the course and scope of the management's duty. Embezzlement's not part of their scope, okay? So unless it's a crime or that kind of intentional tort, managers' actions are the board's actions and vice versa. That's just the way it is. But it's the HOA's job to pick the proper management. What the code says is that, and the business judgment rule, which is in the corporation's code, right? You get protected if you reasonably rely on the advice of an expert, okay? The reasonableness is where that comes in. So if you have a lawyer that you know has done 20 years at family law and has never done any real estate or HOA law, and you start trusting them, that could be a problem for you. But if somebody hires, let's say I decide to represent boards and somebody hired us and a board, put their faith in me and I screwed up, that's not going to be on the board. That's going to be on me. Board's going to get protected. They might get sued and then they'll cross-claim against me immediately and they'll win that. So you got to have reasonable reliance. But I like to just hear, and I've heard you handle some HOA questions in the past, and I remember screaming at the radio.
Of course, I get. One of the things
your answer wasn't wrong. It just didn't.
Michael, I make most of this up. Okay, I make up the law. I mean, typically someone will ask me a question, and I will answer, well, here's the statutory provisions. Here's how it has changed statutorily.
Well, that's good.
And here is what the court has said in interpreting that. Really? I go, no, I just made that up. Get a real lawyer.
Sounds like AI.
I'm a radio lawyer, so leave me alone.
Yeah. It sounds like AI. AI does hallucinations as well. And it's funny because some of the lawyers who claim to be experts rely a lot on AI, and you can see it in their work. We won't name names, but those listening will know who I'm talking about. But the funny thing is that I'm not talking about those times where you're making stuff up. I'm talking about those times where you have the nuts right, but you stop short.
Of course I do, because I'm listening to you, and I'm an attorney, and I'm listening to you delve into interpretation, and you rattle off code sections, and you have them. I mean, this is what you do, and you're right. I'm not blowing smoke here. If you were a bad attorney, I would gladly say you're a bad attorney.
I've heard you say,
a marginal attorney. You're very good at what you do, and you know your stuff. And so I will just be very general, or I will say, if it actually is a big case, if
it's important,
then I go, you need a specialist.
And you've done that.
You've got to go to someone who knows.
I've heard it hundreds of times where you said, look, this is important. You need to go see somebody on this. You need to go see and you tell them what kind of lawyer they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that all the time.
Well, I do. Someone's lost their eyesight. An ophthalmologist screws up, and now they are partially blind. Do I think there's much of a case? No, based on what the facts are, but you know what? Don't take my word for it.
Go see a personal injury or a medical malpractice.
Yeah. You have to, where liability is really sketchy or the damages are so high that the lawyer's going to find liability someplace.
Yeah.
There was just a case I referred to saying you need a lawyer where a guy got paralyzed. His fault completely. Right? He's on a bicycle and he pulls right out in front of a car. And he's hit and he's paralyzed, And I talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, there's not much there, but I'm going to find something with someone who's
We'll
paralyzed.
get something.
Yeah, we're going
Wow.
to get something here.
Yeah. You know, and I remember there was this one time you gave advice, and it was somebody, it was their fault. You seem to have a lot of those.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, where they're calling you for help, and you end up telling them how stupid they are.
That's correct.
That's one of my favorite things about your show. I actually look forward to those.
Yes.
Is when you do that. And by the way, I do that here. It's kind of an endearing thing with some people when I have a client come in, and this happens at least twice a month, I have to say. I literally adopted this from you, where I will sit there and I'll say, look, I'm going to help you. I can help you. But first, I need to make fun of you. and I go into it, and I got that from you. I just adopted it, so I hope that's okay.
Oh, it's more than okay.
Because it's funny.
It's funny. You tell people,
and it disarms people, and it helps them understand they're human.
And I go, you've gone through the first levels of stupidity. Now let's talk about the fourth level.
Now, how do we fix it, though? Let's see if we can fix it, and it's usually fixable.
I like it when it's not.
Not when it's paralyzed. I don't think that's fixable.
No, and that one I'm not going to make fun of.
No,
that's a little bit.
You're not cruel.
Yeah, I try. Well, I try not.
You're mean, but you're not cruel.
Well said.
Yeah, you're not cruel. Nobody that can tell the story you tell about your father used to tell this at Christmas time.
My dad's background?
Yeah.
Oh,
during the World War. Yeah, the Holocaust
survivor.
Because you were raised in Brazil.
I was raised in Brazil.
And you've told that story usually annually.
Yeah, he is.
It's an incredible story, but nobody that can tell that story that's lived that.
It's an astounding story. He was a young man. He lived in Europe, Yugoslavia, and the Nazis came in.
He sure did.
And he was able to get out. With his two sisters, and he had first been picked up by the Nazis and tortured in his high school shower room down in the basement. And they strung him up with piano wire and were beating him up. But he got out the next day through a whole series of miraculous events. And that night he went to Italy with his two sisters because Yugoslavia is right across the Adriatic. And what he did is he went into the Vatican where there was a program in the Vatican. 5,000 Jews were hidden during the war. Mm-hmm. And because of his ability, languages, he spoke 9 languages. I mean, fluently, dead-ass fluently, including Latin.
How old was he at this time?
22, 23.
Okay. I didn't remember that.
And he became a priest. He actually masqueraded he was a Jesuit priest.
And he sold it.
Oh, yeah. No, he was Father Alberine Leonardo. And I still have his passport as Jesuit priest, Father Alberine Leonardo.
You know, this isn't related, but my grandfather met, and I don't remember the name of the Pope, but this was, I guess, the 40s or 50s. But my grandfather met the Pope, and my grandfather received, and I have it in my office now, it's a papal blessing. And I'm not a Catholic, so obviously I'm going to tell you what I think it means because it's in Latin and Italian or something. So, but basically it's an intercessory prayer where even though my family's Jewish, my father gets a ticket to heaven basically because the Pope intercedes upon my father's death, which was in December of 2015. Mm-hmm. The Pope intercedes on my father's behalf. And it's called an intercessory prayer. And I have this thing and I've had it translated. It's an incredible thing. I'd like to see your that passport one.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
He has a mustache. He just looked older than he was. Interesting story.
But you ended up in Brazil.
Yeah, he ended up after the war. He ended up going to Brazil as he was a refugee. He was actually stateless. He did not have. He was not a citizen of any country. No native citizenship because. His citizenship was the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, which disappeared.
It's gone
after the war.
That's right.
It became communist Yugoslavia, so it didn't exist anymore. Right. The passport he had was just a piece of paper, so he was stateless. And the Red Cross got involved, and hundreds of thousands of people. So he ended up in Brazil, spent 11 years in Brazil. He applied to come to the United States in 1945 from Italy, where he was living, and the application followed him. It took 11 years for him to get into this country.
I won't even comment.
Yeah, 11 years. He waited. He followed the rules.
Well, obviously he did, and here you are.
Yeah, well, here I am, a citizen of the United States. So when the ICE comes around, here's my passport.
They're not coming around.
Not around here. I know, especially in your house. I know what you have, the arsenal that you have. So,
Oy. Yeah, and the Malinois.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Malinois that eat people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. Especially when you're being eaten.
It's funny because I don't know if people in your neighborhood, whether it was the Persian Palace where you live now, your neighbors probably know who you are at some point.
Yeah,
they get to learn. So they know that you're an attorney, but they also know that you're a radio personality.
Right.
Same with me. In the HOAs I've lived in, they know what I do. They know what area of law I do. And I've had very good HOAs. I've never had a problem.
I'll bet you haven't.
I haven't. I have had no problems. And I'm sure some of it, at least in the last HOA, I'm sure some of it was because of what I did.
Oh, sure, of course.
I happen to genuinely believe I live in a very good HOA now, just like you live in a good one.
Why aren't you on the board?
Oh, never.
Why?
It's a lot of work.
Okay.
I don't have time for that.
Okay.
You actually have to put forth effort, and you have to spend time. It's a lot of responsibility. You got to show up to meetings. I get in here at 3 a.m. now. I gave myself an extra 45 minutes of sleep, so now I arrive at about 3. I'm in bed by the time a lot of these meetings occur. They start at like 7:30. I got to go to bed. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
And I wouldn't. But I do sit on a committee. I'll do that.
Okay, it's fair.
Yeah, I'll be on the I'll be on the architectural committee.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of people ask why I call my house the Persian Palace.
Go ahead.
Okay, and the reason I call my house the Persian Palace is we built the house.
It's gorgeous, by the way.
The
elevator and all.
Elevator and all. Commercial elevator.
By the way, I didn't see a purpose for it because going up the stairs was just as fast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's Like, when you don't have legs or you're old and decrepit or
yeah,
whatever.
but you had legs and you weren't old and decrepit.
It didn't matter. I still went up the elevator. We had a lot of Persian friends, and so we called it the Persian. And the house is fairly understated. I mean, it wasn't crazy. And of course, Persians
still very beautiful, large house.
But Iranians go gold and
gilded
marble,
everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So we called it the Persian Palace just as a yutz to our Persian friends.
Yeah. I actually thought, so originally I thought that it was because of all the Persian carpets.
No, I had a lot of Persian carpets.
I know that. And I remember seeing how many you had. I thought that's why it was.
No, it was the Persian Palace because we had Persian friends and it was a screw.
All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I didn't like about your house, and it had nothing to do with your house, it's how hot it was in the summer.
It
was like 140 degrees.
Well, it can be. In Encino, it can get pretty warm. Orange County relative to the San Fernando Valley is, about 10, 15 degrees cooler?
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
And this was... And
I think 20.
And we were up a little bit up on a hill, about 1,000 feet.
I was at your house several times, and it was always in the summer for some reason, and it was always miserably hot.
Yeah, always.
So that had nothing to do with you. But it was, I thought it was the Persian carpets because you had them everywhere.
I did have them everywhere.
And you should probably still do have a bunch. I have several. I got them from my parents when they died.
I don't think, you know what? I don't have any more Persians. Marjorie has all the Persian carpets because my house doesn't work for Persian carpets.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you call it now?
A house.
Oh, fair enough.
I call it the house.
Well, Persian Palace was actually pretty famous because you use it on the air all the time.
Yeah.
Well, listen, keep doing what you're doing, obviously.
You too.
I love the answers you give. Whether they're good or bad, by the way, it's always entertaining.
Well, that's important.
Sometimes more entertaining when you're wrong.
100%.
Okay, sometimes. And unless I really feel for the person on the other side, and then I'm like, oh my God, because they might not know you're joking, and they're gonna believe it.
Yeah, a lot of old people, I tell them, hurry up because you're about to die.
Yes, you do say that.
A lot of that. People that write wills.
Or where are you from because of an accent?
Yeah, a lot of that, and I make fun of where they're from. If they're from the Philippines, for example, I stop answering questions until they start singing karaoke. Actually, I force them to sing peelings. Peelings, nothing more than peelings.
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yes.
This isn't me. I'm not saying any of this. This is all Bill.
That's all me.
It's all Bill. Bill, I want to thank you for coming by.
Great fun, Mike.
Today. It's just great having you. I hope you'll come another time.
Oh, anytime.
Or if something happens in the law.
And likewise the other way. If something happens in the world of HOA, you're on my program. I mean,
I'm there anytime you call.
Yeah, instantly.
Folks, listen. Bill's a treasure. If you want to listen to his show.
KFI AM 640, 6 to 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday. is the general show, just a general talk
And
show.
that one is a hoot. I promise. It's a lot of fun.
That's
but
also very weird.
I'm going to ask everybody to join me in thanking Bill for coming. If you like this episode, please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. If you want to leave a comment, please do. I'm sure I'm going to get some after today's show, and I will try to answer them. Until next time, have a wonderful day, folks.